boss, they say yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We bring you everything from breaking news.
President must know that this is a bad time for our nation. We must look for foreign support to save this nation.
World news, sport, music, and many more. To listen to our programs, follow us live on all platforms on Facebook at Aloore Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Aloore Radio. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page on Aloore Radio. Make sure you click on the notification bell so you know when we are live. This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State.
lóòótọ́ àlùkà wà ní ẹrù olódùmarè ni ló fi jẹ́ pé àlùkà wà ní téèyàn bá ṣe lórí òdodo olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù náà ní bá ní gbé àgbẹ́kẹ̀lé ìṣèjọba omi tuntun tí ń bẹ nípìnlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ èyí tí gómìnà ṣèyí mákindé ń darí nìyí ló fi jẹ́ ọgbà tí ìṣèjọba ètìgórí àlééfà ló ti gbé ìlànà ìṣèjọba olóko mẹ́rin kalẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ìgbélárugẹ ọrọ̀ ajé ohun ààbò tó gbópọn lára àṣeyọrí ìlànà yìí ní gbígba iléèwé gíga yunifásitì LAUTECH fúnpìnlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ owó ìrànwọ́ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mọ̀ọ́fin àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbàwé ọ̀fẹ́ ó sì tún gbòlùkọ́ síṣẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ní tìbútòrò òpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ nípa kíkọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé sí wọ́ọ̀dù tó dín ní ọ̀ọ́dúnrún níye àtúnṣe àwọn ilé ìwòsàn tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ òun ilé ìwòsàn alágbèéká kọ́rọ̀ ajé ìpínlẹ̀ wa lè ní gọ́gọ́ sí a ṣàtúnṣe àwọn ọ̀nà tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ a sì tún la tuntun ìsẹ́yìn sọ́yọ́ ìsẹ́yìn sógbómọ̀ṣọ́ ìsẹ́yìn sókè o ṣakí sọ́gbọ̀rọ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ìgbélárugẹ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ òun ní ojú pópó tó mọ́lẹ̀ rókoṣo ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ò sì tẹ̀tì ààbò sì dúró ore nípìnlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ báwọn ọdẹ onípàkúté ò tiẹ̀ sí mi pàkúté wọn ń dìdẹ olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù ń bá ìṣàkóso ìgbẹ́rù rẹ̀ gómìnà ṣèyí mákindé wá ń dúpẹ́ fún àtìlẹ́yìn gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ lágbára olódùmarè ibi ire lòkè yìí ń gbé wa rè ibi ire.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser, baby, this is silk, not polyester. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another mill, let's run it back.
Good afternoon, listeners. Welcome to the very first edition of From Local to Global. Local to Global is a program which we are going to be talking about how to encourage investments, how to encourage SMEs in our state, and how to get these businesses to attract international attention. My name is Kunle Aderemi. I will be your regular anchor on this program for the foreseeable future, and welcome to From Local to Global.
Felt like Patrick, I'm feeling fantastic. Swear I wasn't joking when I said that bitch was bad shit, bad shit. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester.
In this very first edition, what we'll be talking about is funding, really. And when you talk about funding, it means you're looking at how you can raise capital for businesses in various categories, either existing businesses that need capital injection or startups that need seed capital for them to kick off what they're doing. Most cases nowadays, what we have is a lot of startups, because the generation where we are now, we have quite a number of people who are very talented, who are very smart, and they feel they can add value to the society. In doing that, they want to do their own thing. They want to make a difference in the society. But then again, what stops them, temporarily at least, is the issue of funding. So this first edition, what we'll be looking at is how to get investors and funding for your business. Now, I'll be speaking generally, and for this first edition, I'll just probably be having this discussion by myself. Subsequent editions, I would have a guest or two in the studio who will make contributions to the discourse.
Baby, this is silk, not polyester. Yes, sir. Baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Paid another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser. Baby, this is silk, not polyester. My girl don't wear no bra, she let them titties titty. I'm way too paid and way too fly. We don't go 50-50.
So, we start this way by saying, okay, when you have a business idea or you're working to make a dream a reality, but then again, you have to consider funding for it. Now, after all you need is money to turn your idea into something tangible. You need cash to buy maybe equipment, you need cash to pay whoever is working with you. You need money to just generally make your business function. And if money is not rolling in yet, it's always tough to build a top-notch product or service. And that's why small businesses and startups look for funding or seek out investors. Before you look at investment, you can look at two types of investment: the internal sort of investment and the external sort of investment. Now, the internal investment is what most of us start off with. I certainly did. That's the bank of mommy and daddy. That's family and friends as well. Now, these are the first set of people that would naturally believe in you, believe in what you're about to do. These are people who will have been watching you over years, who will think, okay, this guy is talented, this girl is talented. Let's support our dream, let's support the vision. So in doing that, daddy and mommy would drop in few thousands or few millions if that's what they have. Now, that kind of money, you're not borrowing it. It's more like a seed capital into what you want to start. And because you're the child, you're the daughter or son, they want to see you grow and succeed. It doesn't mean you have to spend it anyhow, but it just means you have less stress in terms of returns on investment for that kind of money. Same thing goes for family and friends as well. Now, they too would always chip in, maybe not as much as daddy and mom will do it, but you get that from them as well. Now, that gives you full control of your business. Of course, you'll have had a financial plan, you'll have a business plan, you'll have thresholds of what you want to achieve over a period of time, and that is how you start your business. That way, your business will go on smoothly. You'll be more relaxed in terms of you're not owing anybody to pay back in 6 months' time, to pay back in 12 months, a year, 2 years, and thereabout. So that way is the first and perhaps the best form of investment for your business.
My pants are issy, if it is willy-nilly. I'm going around the world and back, I'm booked and busy. Come here, kitty, I don't mind a couple whiskers. Just got off the broken back, significantly richer. They tattoo my scriptures, Russ is a religion.
But then again, when you have this kind of funding investment to your business, what that tells you is that you have to take it very serious. 9 out of 10 people are encouraged to still keep their day job, at least for some time. Start your business, but keep your day job so that you have a form of income flowing in from another source, so that whatever money you are given to do your business, you don't use that as your own spending, where you pay for your rent, you pay for your taxi, you pay to feed, you pay to buy clothes. The money invested by the bank of daddy and mommy, as well as friends and family, is not meant for that purpose. So it's advisable you keep your job, at least for 6 months or 1 year, and see how things work. Then most importantly, you have an extra financial injection which would help you sustain the business properly. Again, it gives you straight full control, like I said, on that one. The other thing is, when you're starting a business, you don't start very big. Start from the barest minimum. You have the investments, you have that. Just start from the small scale, then you grow gradually. That way you don't get overwhelmed by the whole idea of what you're doing, because again, you're still very new in the business. Perhaps you don't have enough experience. to sustain the challenges that would come with the business. So if you start gradually from a smaller scale and then you just grow as the business grows, it gives you time to make your mistakes, which is allowed, but most importantly, learn from the good lessons which will come your way.
Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser, baby, this is silk, not polyester.
Now, the second type of investment which other people will look into if you cannot get the support of the bank of mommy and daddy or friends and family is to give equity sharing to people who have the money but they want to stake in your business. Now, this is very simple. It's like you're giving out shares of your company to outside investors in order to finance your business. So when you make money, your investors are entitled to a portion of the profits. This type of equity is best for sole proprietors, really, who need some startup cash. So when you want to start a business and you don't have the support of the bank of mommy and daddy, equity is the easiest way to go. You just give out shares of your business to people who have the money. Maybe some will ask for 40%, some will ask for 50%, but advisable, it's not best to give more equity to an investor that you would have. So most of the time, people tend to hold on to, the owner of the business tend to hold on to, like, say 51%, then give out 49%. That way, you still have control over the business at all times. Then some would say, look, I can't give more than 30% of my equity to the business so that I can have a huge control over it. So it's a different way of doing that. So once you give the equity out, it offers your employees a certain percent. You can even give your employees as well a certain percentage of your business. What that means is, once your staff have equity in the business, they will have a stronger sense of responsibility because their own investment is in the business and they want to protect it as well. Now, this is something which is not exactly done around in the Nigerian society, where you have a business and you not give your employees certain percentage of it. But however, it's done abroad. Businesses survive there, and again, one thing we look at is at the end of down the line is when the sole proprietor passes on. Most times the business die with the owner. So, but when you give your employees shares in your business, they have equity in it. It means your business will not die when the sole proprietor passes on. So, it's that kind of things which make business to survive.
Investor, made another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser, baby, this is silk, not polyester. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss, they say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another mill, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser, baby, this is silk, not polyester.
Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir.
Then you have to find a way to calculate this equity in a way where you still hold the highest stakes of it to figure out your business equity. You calculate the assets, the liabilities of the business. Now, in doing that, you start by determining the company's total assets, and these are things that are in progress, inventory, cash, and other receivables. You also need to figure out your debts and liabilities, including salaries and accounts payable. When you calculate equity, you can subtract the liabilities from the assets. I'm going to be technical here now, but that's just because we're talking about funding for a startup. What we'll do as time go by is we'll actually go into a bit of more details so that whoever is in startup business can always reach out and would possibly help in any way we can in doing this. Now, in negotiating equity, Startups and small businesses cannot offer huge salaries. That's why they offer equity instead. That's the thing. Now, here are a few tips for negotiating equity in a startup. First and foremost, you must ask questions. If you don't know how something works, ask a question. Keep in mind that whoever is offering the agreement will have answers ready. So don't be afraid to take the agreement to a trusted lawyer or advisor. In any equity transactions that you want to do, always have a lawyer as a standby. This is a case where there is no such thing as a bad question, and no question is a stupid question at the same time. Now, again, you need to learn to speak the language. People will begin to use fancy words like vesting, and you could end up in over your head if you don't understand what they're saying. So don't be afraid to read up on equity to understand how it works and before accepting an agreement. Again, that is very crucial in everything that you do as a startup. Read extensively, do your research, be very sure of what you're doing, and read far ahead of what potentially can happen. That gives you a step ahead of everyone, and you fully understand what you are going into. Then consider taxation. In this day and age where in Nigeria there is the FIRS, taxation comes into play, and your equity benefits are not free from taxation. I'll say that again. Your equity benefits are not free from taxation. So make sure that you understand how the agreement will affect your present and future taxes. Again, you can negotiate for ownership instead of negotiating for money or shares. Negotiate for the percentage of the company that you will own. Now that is for those who are going to take on the equity. Do not ask for money on it. Just negotiate for percentage of the business. That way you have a stake in it. That way you can go on for life, you can go on for a number of years depending on your negotiating ability. Then there's some tricky stuff that always are within the lines of the agreement as well. So these documents will have the tricky stuff that is in it. It might be in your favor, it might not be in your favor. So again, it means once you have the draft agreement, take it to a lawyer. Let your lawyer have a look into it, and lawyer would advise you very well. Again, it means you pay your lawyer, obviously. So one of the key things you look at is for repurchase rights, for vested shares, termination of stock options, and non-competes.
I'm going around the world and back, I'm booked and busy. Come here, kitty, kitty. I don't mind a couple whiskers. Just got off the broken back, significantly richer. They tattoo my scriptures. Russ is a religion. Second step is action, dog. First step is ambition.
Dear listeners, this is where we'll draw the curtain for this program. This discussion on funding for startup businesses will be an ongoing thing in the next edition, which again will be next week, Monday. We'll go deep into this, perhaps, or maybe next week, Monday, I'll come up with a guest in the studio as well, whom we can ask questions for. If we have access to maybe have a phone-in program or something, we will try and see if we can do that as well. So yeah, I've just made, we can have a phone-in program as well. So it means we can have some contributions from the public and they can ask questions as well. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Kunle Aderemi. I look forward to hosting you again next week, Monday. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another meal, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my dresser, baby, this is silk, not polyester. Yes, sir, baby, I'm a boss. They say yes, sir. Shout out to myself, that's my investor. Made another meal, let's run it back like Devin Hester. Pistol in my